The stars looked different from the observation deck of the UESC Defiance. Commander Lisa Weber stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching the distant pinpricks of light. Humanity had come far in the last 50 years. Colonies on Mars and the Moon thrived with almost 1 million people between them. Research stations orbited Jupiter's moons. Earth's nations, while still maintaining their identities, had largely put aside their differences to reach for the stars together. "Commander, we're picking up something unusual," said Alan Wright, his voice pulling Weber from her thoughts. Wright was young but sharp, the best tactical officer Weber had worked with in her 20 years of service. "Define unusual, Lieutenant," she said, moving to his station. Wright's fingers danced across the display. "An object entering the solar system at velocity we've never recorded before. It's not following any natural orbit, and it's slowing down." Weber's heart beat faster. This could be it, the moment humanity had debated for centuries. First contact. Alert Admiral Garcia back at command. Wake Dr. Powell and have her report to the bridge immediately. The next hour was organized chaos as the Defiance changed course to intercept the unknown object. Dr. Samantha Powell, the ship's xenobiologist, joined Weber on the bridge, her eyes wide with excitement and fear. "Do you think it's really them, visitors?" Powell asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "We'll know soon enough," Weber replied. As they approached, the object revealed itself to be a ship unlike anything human engineers had ever designed. It was smooth and almost biological in appearance, with sections that seemed to pulse with inner light. "Open all communication channels," Weber ordered. "Broadcast the first contact package on all frequencies." For years, Earth's greatest minds had prepared for this moment, creating messages of peace and mathematical sequences that should be understandable to any intelligent species. The Defiance sent these messages toward the alien vessel, again and again. No response came. "They're changing course," Wright reported, his voice tense. "They're heading directly for us now." Weber frowned. "Continue broadcasting. Perhaps they need time to understand." The ship shuddered violently. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. "We're hit," shouted Wright. "Some kind of energy weapon." Weber steadied herself against a console. Shields up. Evasive maneuvers. But the Defiance wasn't built for combat. Earth had always believed, or perhaps hoped, that any species advanced enough for interstellar travel would have evolved beyond violence. They were wrong. "Send everything we're seeing back to Earth," Weber ordered as another blast rocked the ship. "They need to know what's happening." Powell gripped the edge of a console, her face pale. "Why are they attacking? We did nothing to threaten them." Weber had no answer. The ship's systems were failing around them. The alien vessel fired again, and this time the impact sent crew members flying across the bridge. "Hull breach on decks 3 through 5, reported the ship's computer, its voice unnaturally calm amid the chaos. "Send the emergency data package now," Weber commanded, knowing what was coming. The ship's computers would transmit all sensor data, including visual recordings of the attack, back to Earth. The alien ship fired once more. Weber watched through the view screen as the beam of energy approached, knowing these were her final moments. Her last thought was of Earth, unprepared for what was coming. The transmission reached Earth 18 minutes later. In the United Earth Space Command headquarters, Admiral Peter Garcia watched in horror as the Defiance was destroyed. The room fell silent as the final images from the ship played out. "They never even tried to communicate," whispered one officer. Garcia's weathered face hardened. He had lost friends today, including Weber, who had been like a daughter to him. But more than that, humanity had lost its innocence among the stars. "Sound the alert," he ordered, "and get me the Security Council. Earth needs to prepare." Within hours, the news spread across the planet and to the colonies. The debate about alien life was over. They existed, and they were hostile. Humanity would mourn its dead, but there was little time for grief, because everyone who saw the footage of the Defiance's destruction knew one terrible truth. The attackers would likely return, and next time, they would come for Earth. A month passed since the destruction of the Defiance. Black ribbons hung from buildings across Earth and the colonies. Memorial services were held for Commander Weber and her crew, heroes who gave their lives in humanity's first encounter with alien life. In the underground levels of the UESC headquarters, Admiral Peter Garcia stood before a wall of screens. Each showed different views of Earth's hastily assembled defense systems. It was not enough. Not nearly enough. "They'll be back," Garcia said to the room of military leaders and scientists. "And we need to be ready." The room was silent. These men and women carried the weight of humanity's survival on their shoulders. "Show me the footage again," Garcia ordered. "Dr. Martinez, tell me what you see." Dr. Olivia Martinez stepped forward. She was the leading physicist in energy weapons research, and she had been studying the attack footage day and night. Her eyes were ringed with dark circles, her lab coat wrinkled from sleeping at her desk. "The alien weapon signature is unlike anything we've developed," she said as the video played. "But there's a pattern to the energy discharge. If we could recreate it, we might develop countermeasures." On screen, the Defiance exploded again and again as Martinez froze the footage at different points. For her, this was more than a scientific problem. Her cousin had been an engineer on the Defiance. "How long?" Garcia asked. "To develop effective countermeasures. With current resources, maybe 6 months. Maybe longer." Garcia frowned. "We might not have that long." Across the world, factories that once made cars and home appliances now produced weapons and shield generators. Space elevators operated around the clock, lifting materials to orbital shipyards. Former enemies shared military secrets and resources. Earth had never been so united. In a secure facility beneath Wyoming's mountains, Dr. Kevin Barnes led a team studying the few fragments of alien technology recovered by probes sent to the Defiance's last location. The work was slow and dangerous. 2 scientists had already died when a piece of alien equipment suddenly activated. "We're making progress," Barnes reported during the daily briefing. "We believe these beings call themselves the Vorsen. Their technology uses principles we're only beginning to understand." Garcia nodded. "Any progress on understanding why they attacked?" Barnes shook his head. "The data fragments contain nothing about their motives. But we did find something else. Star charts. The Vorsen are part of a larger galactic community. There are other species out there." The news sent a ripple through the room. Humanity was not just facing one alien species, but potentially many. On Mars colony, Captain Eric Russell trained new recruits for space combat. The colony had transformed its mining vessels into makeshift warships. They wouldn't stand a chance against the alien vessel that destroyed the Defiance, but they might slow down an invasion force. Again, Russell ordered as the pilots ran another simulation. "Tighter formation. Remember, we're smaller and more maneuverable. That's our only advantage." Back on Earth, in the home she once shared with her husband, Nicole Bradley sat surrounded by computers. As the UESC's top communications specialist, she had one job: find a way to talk to the aliens if they returned. "We need to understand them," she told Garcia during a video call. "Even if they don't want to understand us." Garcia wasn't convinced. They had their chance to talk. They chose to fire instead. The world waited. Orbital defense platforms were built. New weapons were designed. Children practiced duck and cover drills in schools. Humanity prepared for war while hoping for peace. 6 months after the Defiance's destruction, the long-range sensors at the edge of the solar system detected something. Not one ship this time, but 7. Larger than the first, faster, and heading straight for Earth. "This is it," Garcia told the emergency meeting of world leaders. "The real test begins now." In orbit around Earth, the hastily assembled defense fleet prepared for battle. On the ground, people looked to the sky with fear. Humanity's first war among the stars was about to begin. The 7 Vorsen warships entered the solar system like predators sensing wounded prey. They moved with purpose, their sleek forms dwarfing anything humans had built. The largest was nearly a mile long. In the command center of Earth's orbital defense station, Admiral Garcia watched the holographic display with grim determination. "All ships, maintain position," he ordered. "Let them come to us." Earth's defensive fleet consisted of 137 vessels. Most were converted civilian ships with hastily mounted weapons. Only 22 were actual warships, built in the 6 months since the attack on the Defiance. Captain Eric Russell commanded a squadron of 12 small fighters. His hands were steady on the controls, but sweat beaded on his forehead. "Remember your training," he said to his pilots. "Hit and run. Don't let them target you." The aliens showed no interest in communication. Their ships spread out, heading toward different targets across the solar system. 3 moved toward Earth. 2 headed for Mars. 1 each for the Moon and the Jupiter outposts. "They're splitting their forces," said Garcia. "Just as we hoped." Earth's strategy relied on the aliens underestimating humanity. Dr. Martinez's research had yielded defensive shields that might withstand the Vorsen weapons, at least briefly, but only if the aliens didn't concentrate their fire. The battle began without warning. The Vorsen ships opened fire on human outposts, their energy weapons lighting up the darkness of space. Earth's fleet responded, launching missiles and firing their own energy weapons. Russell led his squadron against one of the ships headed for Mars. His fighters darted around the massive alien vessel, firing at the same spot repeatedly. "Their shields are weakening at point 7, he called out. "All fighters, concentrate fire." In her communications center on Earth, Nicole Bradley picked up transmissions between the alien ships. She couldn't understand the language, but her computers analyzed the patterns. "They're surprised," she reported to Garcia. "They expected an easy victory. They're calling for a new formation." Garcia smiled grimly. "Good." Captain Russell pressed the advantage. Russell's squadron redoubled their efforts. A lucky shot from his lead gunner found a weak spot in the Vorsen ship's shields. The alien vessel shuddered, then fired wildly as its systems failed. One blast caught a human fighter, vaporizing it instantly. "Jerry's gone," someone said over the comm. Russell pushed down his grief. "Keep firing," he ordered. "Make it count." Near Jupiter, the research stations were evacuated just before the Vorsen ship destroyed them. The escaping scientists watched as decades of work disappeared in seconds. The battle for the Moon was brief and devastating. The colony there, home to 30,000 people, was partially destroyed by orbital bombardment. Only the deep mining tunnels provided safety for the survivors. On Earth, cities lit up with defensive fire as Vorsen ships launched smaller attack craft. These fighters strafed population centers, their weapons cutting through buildings like paper. Garcia deployed Earth's secret weapon, orbital platforms armed with Dr. Martinez's pulse disruptors. When activated, they fired waves of energy that temporarily disabled Vorsen systems. "Now," Garcia ordered as one Vorsen ship passed within range. The pulse hit the alien vessel, causing it to drift. Earth's ships converged, firing everything they had. The Vorsen ship exploded in a blinding flash. "We got one," cheered an officer. "Focus," Garcia said sharply. "This isn't over." He was right. The remaining Vorsen ships adjusted their tactics. They stayed out of range of the pulse disruptors, launching long-range attacks that devastated Earth's surface. Cities burned. Millions died in the first day, billions by the end of the week. But humanity fought back with desperate courage. Russell's squadron destroyed a second Vorsen ship. Earth's remaining defenses brought down a third. Finally, after 10 days of brutal fighting, the surviving Vorsen vessels retreated, jumping to faster-than-light speed beyond Neptune. "They're gone," Bradley confirmed. Garcia looked at the damage reports flooding his screen. 3 billion dead worldwide. Countless injured. Parts of Earth would be uninhabitable for decades. But they had survived. And more importantly, they had fought back. Humanity had shown the Vorsen that Earth would not fall easily. They'll return, Garcia said softly. And next time, we need to be stronger. 2 months after the first invasion, Earth was still burning. Cities lay in ruins, but from the ashes, humanity was building something new, something stronger. Deep beneath the Wyoming mountains, Dr. Kevin Barnes examined a piece of Vorsen technology, recovered from one of the destroyed alien ships. The lab around him was filled with similar items, weapons, computer systems, and most importantly, the alien drive that allowed faster-than-light travel. I think I understand how it works, Barnes told Admiral Garcia, who had come to check on his progress. It doesn't bend space like our theories suggested. It creates a tunnel through it. Garcia looked at the complex device. Can we build one? With time, yes, Barnes replied. But I think we can do better. The Vorsen design is efficient, but it's not creative. There are improvements we can make. The Admiral nodded. How long? Give me 6 months and the best engineers on Earth. Garcia agreed without hesitation. The future of humanity depended on such advancements. In a separate facility nearby, Dr. Olivia Martinez studied the Vorsen weapon systems. The aliens' energy weapons were powerful, but they followed predictable patterns. Martinez had already designed improved shields based on this knowledge. Now she was working on something bigger. The Vorsen rely on their technological advantage, she explained to Garcia during his tour. But they don't innovate. They've been using the same weapons for what might be hundreds of years. She pointed to a simulation on her screen. Their ships fire in sequences. There's a 3-second vulnerability after each main discharge. We can exploit that. Garcia watched the simulation with interest. Will it be enough? Martinez smiled. Not by itself, but combined with everything else we're developing, it gives us a chance. In orbit around Earth, Chief Engineer Maria Hernandez supervised the construction of new warships. Unlike the vessels hastily built before the first invasion, these incorporated Vorsen technology alongside human innovations. The Vorsen build their ships like fortresses, she told the workers. We're building ours like wolves, faster, more adaptable, and hunting in packs. The centerpiece of the new fleet was the UESC Retribution, a ship twice the size of anything humans had built before. It would serve as the command vessel for Earth's counteroffensive. Meanwhile, in a secure room at UESC headquarters, strategic analyst Daniel Cooper studied footage of Vorsen battle tactics. They always follow the same patterns, he told Garcia during a strategy meeting. 3 ships attack, 4 defend. They'd never deviate, even when it would be advantageous. Garcia frowned. That seems like a weakness we can exploit. Exactly, Cooper agreed. They're technologically advanced, but rigid in their thinking. They don't adapt well to unexpected situations. This information shaped Earth's new defensive and offensive strategies. Humanity couldn't match the Vorsen in raw power, but they could outsmart them. Throughout the asteroid belt, hidden manufacturing facilities worked around the clock. Automated systems converted raw materials into weapons, ships, and thousands of small, unmanned drones designed to confuse Vorsen targeting systems. We're calling it Project Phoenix, Garcia explained to the United Earth Council, rising from the ashes, stronger than before. The council members, representatives from Earth's surviving nations, looked at the plans with hope. The first invasion had nearly broken humanity. 3 billion dead, major cities destroyed. But it had also united them as never before. The Vorsen think they've crippled us, said Garcia. They expect to find a weakened planet when they return. Instead, they'll find a species ready to fight back. In training facilities across Earth and Mars, Captain Eric Russell prepared a new generation of pilots. They flew advanced simulators based on actual Vorsen ships and tactics. They beat us once, Russell told his students. They won't do it again. As Earth prepared, the long-range sensors watched the stars. The Vorsen would return. Everyone knew that. But next time, humanity would be ready. Project Phoenix was more than a military strategy. It was humanity's promise to itself. We will survive. We will fight back. And eventually, we will win. 2 years after the first invasion, Earth's long-range sensors detected movement. 15 Vorsen warships, more than twice the number from the first attack, entered the solar system. They moved with confidence, expecting to find a broken and defenseless planet. "They're here," Admiral Garcia announced to the War Council. His face showed no fear, only grim determination. "All units to battle stations." Fleet Commander Susan Miller stood on the bridge of the UESC Retribution. At 45, she had spent half her life in space. Now she commanded Earth's primary defense fleet. "Maintain stealth protocols," Miller ordered. "Let them come deeper into the system." Earth's new strategy relied on surprise. The Vorsen didn't know about humanity's technological leaps. They expected easy targets, not a prepared opponent. On Mars, Security Chief Ryan Bennett prepared the ground defenses. The Red Planet, with its smaller population, would likely be hit first, just as in the previous attack. "Remember your training," Bennett told his troops. "We only need to hold them off until the fleet arrives." The lead Vorsen vessel was massive, nearly 2 miles long. It carried High Commander Krezal, who had been sent to finish what the first invasion started. The aliens had no concept of mercy, only conquest. As the Vorsen fleet passed Jupiter, they split into 3 groups. 5 ships headed for Mars, 5 for Earth's moon, and 5 directly for Earth itself. "Just as Cooper predicted," Garcia said, watching the tactical display. They never changed their approach. The trap was ready. Hidden throughout the asteroid belt, hundreds of small human vessels waited. They were the wolves Hernandez had promised, fast, agile, and deadly in packs. "Now," Miller commanded. From their hiding places, Earth's ships emerged. They swarmed the separated Vorsen vessels, attacking from all directions at once. The aliens responded with powerful energy weapons, but they were slow to target the smaller, faster human ships. On the bridge of his flagship, High Commander Krezal received reports of the ambush with disbelief. The primitive humans were supposed to be cowering, not attacking with advanced ships. "Impossible," he growled in his own language. These creatures had nothing like this technology before. The Vorsen tried to regroup, but Earth's forces pressed the advantage. Captain Russell led a squadron targeting the engines of the largest alien vessels. His pilots flew with skill born from thousands of hours in simulators based on the first invasion. "Target locked," Russell reported, firing pulse disruptors. Dr. Martinez's improved weapons hit the Vorsen ship, exploiting the 3-second vulnerability she had discovered. The alien vessel's shields failed, leaving it exposed to conventional weapons. On Mars, the battle on the ground was fierce. Bennett's forces used the planet's lower gravity to their advantage, employing jump tactics the Vorsen weren't prepared for. "They can't adjust to our movements," Bennett told his troops. "Keep changing your positions." Back in Earth orbit, Miller ordered the deployment of their secret weapon. Thousands of small drones launched from hidden bays on the Retribution. They surrounded the Vorsen ships, confusing their targeting systems and creating false readings on their sensors. "They don't know where to shoot," Miller said with satisfaction. The battle raged across the solar system for 3 days. The Vorsen fought with increasing desperation as their carefully planned invasion fell apart. 7 of their ships were destroyed outright. 3 more were disabled and captured. The remaining 5, including High Commander Krezal's flagship, broke away and retreated toward the edge of the solar system. "Should we pursue?" Miller asked Garcia over the secure channel. The Admiral considered the question. Earth's forces had performed better than expected, but they had also suffered losses. 1/3 of their fleet was damaged or destroyed. "No," he decided. "Let them run. Let them tell the others what happened here." As the Vorsen ships fled, Nicole Bradley intercepted a transmission from Krezal's vessel. Her translation program had improved over the past 2 years, and she understood the message clearly. "Sir," she called Garcia, "you need to hear this. The Vorsen commander was calling for reinforcements. Not just more ships, but a full invasion fleet. He was admitting defeat in this battle, but promising to return with enough force to destroy Earth completely. Garcia listened to the translation with a stone face. They had won this battle, but the war was far from over. "How long do we have?" he asked. Bradley studied the transmission data. Based on their communication protocols, at least 8 months before they can assemble such a force. Garcia nodded. "Then we have 8 months to prepare our next move." Earth had proven it could defend itself. 1 month after the second invasion, Earth faced a crucial decision. The United Earth Council gathered in their underground chamber, protected from any future attacks. Admiral Garcia stood before them, presenting 2 options. "We can continue to build our defenses and wait for their next attack," he said, "or we can take the fight to them." The council members looked at each other nervously. The idea of sending ships beyond the solar system seemed risky, even reckless. "We know they're coming back with more forces," Garcia continued. "If we wait, they'll arrive with numbers we can't match. But if we strike first, we can disrupt their preparations." After hours of debate, the council voted. It was close, but the decision was made. Earth would launch a counteroffensive. Captain William Foster was chosen to command the mission. At 38, he had distinguished himself during both Vorsen attacks. Now he would lead humanity's first mission beyond the solar system. "The UESC Retribution will be our flagship," Garcia told Foster during the mission briefing. "We've equipped it with the jump drive technology Dr. Barnes developed from the Vorsen ships we captured." Foster studied the star charts. Their target was a Vorsen outpost detected through intercepted communications. It was located in a system 12 light-years from Earth. "What are our objectives?" Foster asked. "Intelligence gathering is primary," Garcia replied. "We need to know more about their capabilities, their society, and their plans. Tactical specialist Laura Clark will lead that effort." Laura Clark was the best at extracting information from alien systems. She had studied Vorsen technology for 2 years and spoke the basics of their language. "If possible," Garcia added, "we also want to send them a message. Show them that Earth can reach them too." 3 days later, the Retribution and 2 smaller vessels prepared to depart. Foster addressed his crew from the bridge. "What we do today changes everything," he said. "For the first time, humans will travel beyond our solar system, and we go not as explorers, but as defenders of our world." The crew was silent, aware of the historic moment. Dr. Barnes monitored the jump drive from engineering, ready to make adjustments if needed. "Jump drive activated," Barnes reported. "Coordinates locked." Foster took a deep breath. "Engage." The stars stretched into lines of light, then vanished. The Retribution shuddered slightly, then steadied. When normal space returned, they were looking at an unfamiliar star. "Jump successful," Barnes announced, relief in his voice. "All systems normal." They had done it. Humanity had made its first faster-than-light jump. The crew had little time to celebrate. Long-range sensors detected the Vorsen outpost orbiting the system's 4th planet. It was smaller than expected, with only 3 ships docked. "They're not expecting visitors," Foster observed. "Maintain stealth approach." For 3 days, the Earth ships observed the outpost from a distance. Clark collected data on ship movements and communications. What they discovered was surprising. "The Vorsen aren't alone out here," Clark reported during a briefing. "They're communicating with at least 6 other species, and not all of those communications are friendly." Foster studied the data. "You're saying they have enemies?" "More than enemies," Clark replied. "According to what I've translated, the Vorsen are expansionists. They've conquered several worlds already. Earth is just the latest target in a long campaign." This was valuable information. Earth wasn't facing a single species, but an empire. However, that empire had opponents who might become allies. The mission took an unexpected turn when one of the Vorsen ships departed the outpost, heading directly toward the Earth vessel's hiding place. "They've detected us," Foster said. Prepare for engagement. The battle was brief but fierce. The Vorsen ship fought hard, but it was outnumbered. When it was disabled, Foster made a bold decision. Boarding party, prepare to launch, he ordered. We're going to capture that ship intact. Clark led the boarding team. They fought their way through the alien vessel until they reached its data center. There, Clark downloaded everything she could from the ship's computers. What she found changed everything. Earth isn't just another conquest, she told Foster after returning. We're listed as a resource world. They don't want our technology or even our planet. They want us, humans, as a resource to be harvested. Foster's face hardened. This wasn't just a war for territory. It was a war for survival. We've seen enough, he said. Set course for Earth. They need to know what we're really facing. The data Captain Foster brought back from the Vorsen outpost changed everything. Earth now understood the true nature of their enemy and the scale of the threat they faced. The Vorsen weren't just conquerors, they were harvesters of worlds. In her laboratory, Dr. Olivia Martinez worked day and night on a new project. Using what they had learned about Vorsen technology, she developed something the aliens would never expect. A weapon that could affect stars themselves. I call it the Helios Protocol, she explained to Admiral Garcia and the Earth Council. It creates a controlled instability in a star's outer layers, causing it to emit a precisely targeted energy pulse. Garcia frowned. You're talking about weaponizing stars. Yes, Martins admitted. The energy release would be enough to disable any ships in the system, even destroy them if we calibrate it differently. The council chamber erupted in debate. Some argued that such a weapon was too dangerous, too similar to what the Vorsen themselves might use. Others insisted that Earth needed every advantage it could get. This isn't about revenge, Martinez said firmly. It's about survival. The Vorsen won't stop coming. We need a deterrent powerful enough to make them reconsider. After days of discussion, the council approved the project. Martins and her team began building the first Helios Protocol device. Meanwhile, Chief Diplomat Jason Turner prepared a final peace attempt. Despite everything, some on Earth still hoped for a diplomatic solution. We should at least try to talk, Turner insisted during a meeting with Garcia. Show them we're not just warriors. Garcia wasn't optimistic, but he agreed. Earth prepared a message in the Vorsen language, offering to establish boundaries and a non-aggression pact. The message was broadcast toward Vorsen space, using their own communication frequencies. Days passed with no response. Then, without warning, a single Vorsen ship appeared near Jupiter and fired on the Europa colony. The attack was brief but devastating. 50,000 colonists died as the ice covering the moon cracked and installations were destroyed. The Vorsen ship jumped away before Earth's forces could respond. It was the answer to Turner's peace offer. No negotiations. No mercy. Earth mourned its dead, then hardened its resolve. The Helios Protocol moved from theoretical to practical. Martinez's team built and tested the first device in a remote star system, carefully controlling the reaction to avoid any permanent damage. It works, she reported to Garcia. We can trigger a solar flare that follows predictable patterns. We can direct it at specific targets while leaving others untouched. The Admiral nodded. How many can we build? With current resources, 5, maybe 6, but we'd need to deploy them in strategic locations. Garcia studied the star charts captured from the Vorsen ship. Here, he said, pointing to a system near the edge of Vorsen space. Their primary military staging area. If we can disable it, we'll delay their invasion plans. A small fleet was assembled for the mission. The Retribution would lead, carrying the first Helios device. Admiral Garcia, against the Council's wishes, decided to command the mission personally. This is too important to delegate, he told Foster, who would serve as his second in command. If we're going to change the course of this war, I need to be there. The night before the fleet departed, Garcia visited the memorial for the Defiance. Commander Weber's name was etched in stone alongside her crew. the first casualties in humanity's first interstellar war. "We're taking the fight to them, Lisa," he said quietly, "just like you would have wanted." The fleet departed at dawn, jumping beyond the solar system into Vorsen territory. It was humanity's most daring move yet, not just defense, but a strategic offensive. As they approached the target system, Garcia addressed the crews of all ships. "What we do today isn't just for Earth," he said. "It's for all worlds threatened by the Vorsen. Today we show them that humans aren't easy prey. We're not resources to be harvested. We're a force to be respected and feared, if necessary." The Retribution emerged from its jump directly in the target system. Ahead lay the Vorsen military base and 12 warships. The moment of truth had arrived. The Vorsen military base buzzed with activity. Dozens of warships prepared for the final assault on Earth. None of them expected an attack here, in the heart of their territory. When human ships appeared in the system, the Vorsen were caught by surprise. Their sensors detected 5 Earth vessels, including the Retribution. They scrambled to respond, but Admiral Garcia had planned this moment carefully. "Launch the Helios device," he ordered. From the Retribution's main bay, a small probe shot toward the system's star. The Vorsen ignored it, focusing instead on the human ships. They didn't understand what was happening until it was too late. "Device in position," reported Dr. Martinez from her station. "Activation in 3, 2, 1. The star flared. Not a random eruption, but a precisely calculated burst of energy directed at the Vorsen military base and its fleet. The light was blinding even through the Retribution's filtered view screens. When it faded, the Vorsen base remained intact, but every ship in the system was dead in space. The targeted solar flare had disabled their systems without destroying them completely. It was a demonstration, not a massacre. "Open communications," Garcia commanded. "All frequencies in their language." Captain Foster relayed the order. The message they had prepared began broadcasting to the stunned Vorsen. "This is Admiral Peter Garcia of Earth," the message began. "What you have witnessed is a controlled demonstration of the Helios Protocol. We can trigger similar events in any star system where Vorsen forces gather. We have placed such devices throughout your territory." The message continued. "Earth demands recognition of its sovereignty and all its colonies. We demand reparations for your unprovoked attacks. We demand a non-aggression treaty that will be honored for all time. These terms are not negotiable." Garcia added the final line himself. "Attack Earth again, and you will be annihilated. This is your only warning." For several minutes, there was no response. Then, a message came from the Vorsen base. It showed an alien with gray skin and black eyes. A Vorsen High Commander. "You speak to us of demands," the alien said in halting human language. "No species has ever dared such insolence." Garcia stood straight. "No species has ever survived 2 of your invasions. No species has ever brought the fight to your territory. We are not like the others you have conquered." The Vorsen commander was silent for a moment. "You would destroy stars. Countless worlds would suffer." "We would rather not," Garcia replied. "But we will if forced to defend ourselves. The choice is yours." For the first time in their long history of conquest, the Vorsen High Command experienced fear. They had believed themselves the most advanced species in this region of space, but the humans had developed a weapon beyond their understanding. After hours of tense waiting, the Vorsen commander returned to the communication. "We will consider your terms." Garcia knew what that meant. They would look for weaknesses, search for the Helios devices, plan countermeasures, but they would not attack Earth again soon. They needed time, and that was exactly what Earth needed too. "We will await your response," Garcia said. "But know this, Earth is watching." The human fleet departed the system, leaving the disabled Vorsen ships behind. Their message had been delivered. 2 weeks later, Garcia stood in the memorial garden on Earth. The names of all who had died in the war with the Vorsen were inscribed there. Billions of names, too many to read in a lifetime. "We did it, Lisa," he said quietly to Weber's memorial. "We showed them what happens when they underestimate humans." Across the galaxy, news of what happened spread quickly. Other species who suffered under Vorsen rule began to resist. Some reached out to Earth, seeking alliances against their common enemy. The Vorsen Empire, undefeated for 1,000 years, faced its first serious challenge, and it had come from a planet they had dismissed as primitive, a world they had planned to harvest and forget. In the council chamber, Earth's leaders prepared for a new phase. Not just survival, but their place among the stars. They would build alliances, strengthen their defenses, and ensure that no species ever again mistook humanity for easy prey. The message to the galaxy was clear. Earth would defend itself, no matter the cost. Attack again, and be annihilated.